Chapter 69, Birth of Demon Lord. This chapter contains gore and cruelty depiction. Please keep if this disturbs you. Of course, you won't write Tales note, because the point of view in this chapter changes between Rimuru and third-person narrative. I give the full remainder below. Chapter 69, Birth of Demon Lord. Of Rimuru. After the conversation about Yumu had ended, the real strategic conference begins in earnest. Everyone is looking at me with stiff expression. First, let's hear their opinion. First of all, before I give my own opinion, I want to hear what everyone had in mind. Hearing that, everyone start to actively give their reply. Only given self-use spirits. It can't be helped. I want to avoid disturbing the barrier for many things. Everyone put together their opinion. To sum it out, there's an opinion that the human who was responsible for the cowardly surprise attack won't be forgiven. Certainly, that's true. I don't think that's wrong. There's another opinion. There is also a good human, so it's not good to lump them all indiscriminately. Hearing such opinion, I'm glad it's not good if we incorrectly reach our goal because of anger and resentment. The second one is the majority. This proves that the monsters wish to live in coexistence with human. They still follow my rules even after the tragedy occurred. They are my dear companions, the important people that I can call as my family. The me who doesn't really love anyone, I who think that love is something shady. While everyone is coming down, I decide to. Everyone, please listen. Everyone is looking at me. When I get everyone's attention, I start my story. I am a former human, a reincarnated person. Although everyone raises their voices, no one tried to interrupt my story. I think Rangami already know about this. He may have heard it while reside in my shadow. Everybody seems not really surprised. Maybe they're already aware about it before I tell them. Seeing the situation is like this, I keep continuing. I am a person who comes from a different world. In that world, I was a human. When I died at that side, I reincarnated into this side as a slime. In the beginning, I was alone and lonely. Who can predict that I can make a lot of companions? You guys. Perhaps you guys attain your humanoid form when you guys evolved because it was influenced by what I wish inside. That is why I made the rule to not attack human. I said that I like human because I was a former human. I make that rule without any intention for any of you guys to be harmed. Even though I am a monster, my heart is a human. Because of that time I hold such selfish preference. Because I was a former human, I also want to get along with human. The result, I neglect to see what's under me, so it came to this. I think that I am the one who is responsible for all of this to happen. I am deeply sorry. Hearing my story, there's no one who let out a word. Each of them tried to understand my story. Silent descent on the room. It's a fact that Rimuru-sama is a former human. However, I don't see any problem that may arise from this. Hakuro said this with serious face. I don't expect this reaction. Traitor, I expected to be treated like an enemy. But your master is a former human, right? Isn't it unpleasant? To that question, why should I? My only lord is Rimuru-sama. I also think like that, and so on and so on. And at the last is Rigorodo. Rimuru-sama, everyone feeling hasn't changed a bit. There is no need for you to worry about this anymore. So he said, I nod and think, as I expected, this is the place where my heart belongs. I am really happy. After seeing me nodding, Kaijin opened his mouth. So I want to hear something. What you intend to do about interacting with human. For now. From now on. Everyone turned their face to me. Yes, that is a problem. Apart from the monster, this is a great problem for Kaijin and the other dwarves. When the time comes when I declare human as my enemies, I will be considered as a new threat. Well, such thing may not come true. Now I express what my idea about this. First of all, before I give my final answer, I will share what I think about it. In my previous world, there are views that were called Seizen Setsu and Seiyakusetsu. The view which assumed that human nature is basically good. The opposite view which assumed basically good, Seizen Setsu. The opposite view which assumed that human nature is basically bad, Seiyakusetsu. I think that both views are correct, and also both are wrong. Maybe inside, human had both natures in equal proportion. If it leans to the good nature side, he will become a good person. However, if it leans to the bad nature side, he will become a bad person. In truth, I had this view. If you're not trying to do anything immoral, then for me, you are a good person. Thus, if someone didn't detest or distrust just because of us are monsters, then they are a good neighbor. I want to believe in that possibility, but because I want to believe it, I underwent this experience. I failed to properly distinguish the cause from the result. Thus, this is my answer. For now, I think it is too early for us to be at a stage where we can ally with human. The first important thing to do is for my existence is acknowledged by the others. For humans, someone who amasses massive power can't be ignored. In addition, by becoming a demon lord, I can restrain the other demon lords' action. To everyone who went against us, we will bear our fangs and retaliate. To everyone who lends their hands to us, we will grant our blessings to them. To our opponents, we will do to them what they done to us. In the future, I hope that we can be linked in a friendship one day. This is what I think. So I finish my speech. He then responds, that is an overly naive and idealistic thought. Honestly, it's not a speech fit for someone who's going to become a demon lord. However, I don't dislike it. With a sigh, Kaijin said his thoughts. Shuna smiled while giggling. Isn't it fine, even if it's just an idealistic thinking? I think that if it's Rimuru-sama, you will be able to create such world. So she declares her support. In any case, we decided to follow you. That's what it meant to follow. There is no need to think about it. The one who justified the rule without thinking. Gerudo sincerely makes a frank but meaningful declaration. Hey, to make Rimuru-sama into the king, isn't that my duty? Benimaru also. I am Rimuru-sama's faithful shadow. I will perform any instruction that I receive. So wait. Also, we will establish a new country aiming to change everyone's way of thinking. Yomo also said it. Everyone, each respective words, they show their approval. I receive the weight of their words. To push my foolish ideal here, there is no need to make an excuse for it next time. I understand. Please follow my own selfishness. To my words, Donna, Rimuru-sama, we know, we understand it was your selfishness. Is the chorus of everyone's voices. Dot. Well, then it's now the time for the strategic conference against the military invasion. The ones who are invading this time are allied forces of Falmouth Kingdom and Western Saints Church. Approximately the main forces of Falmouth Kingdom are composed of 5,000 regular knights and 4,000 mercenary. Having accepted the request from Falmouth Kingdom, the Western Saints Church sent their crusaders of 2,000 infantry and 3,000 anti-monster squad, and the most troublesome are 1,000 knights from the Church Chivalric Order. The total count of the army is 15,000, a powerful war forces. The almost subordinate that was scattered in various places comes with this information. It seems the number of the forces that assembled is more than they expected. How should we arrange our war information? Garudo said while bracing himself. That in any event, my corps will make their stand at the front. Benimaru is also highly motivated. He had formed a private hobgoblin corps. Is this come from Hakuto's guidance? Riguro commands the Goblin Wolf riders, whom are in raging state. I am not the only one who's angry by the tragedy. However, sorry, but this time I decided that only me should go. No, I want you guys to leave it to me. What do you mean? Benimaru asked. As the representative, I then explained. This time is for the ceremony of me becoming a demon lord. The necessary sacrifices souls for me to become a demon lord are 10,000 people. It's fortunate that the ones who foolishly invaded are 15,000, which are more than sufficed. This is a necessary ceremony or process for me to become a demon lord. So this time, only me that is needed to annihilate the invaders. So I said, actually, there's no need to do the massacre personally. It's the answer from Great Sage. So as long as that's were conducted by my intention, the condition will be cleared. A sudden thought crossed in my mind. Maybe the goal of the demon lord Clayman is to cause the war and to gather 10,000 demon souls. Because the attack by a person is limited, war will make it easy to harvest their souls. This might be his true intention, that is to evolve to a new demon lord. My prediction might be correct. For a small fry to wage war by himself is impossible, but it is something trivial if it is me. It wasn't the only reason why I choose to fight alone. It's because I feel the need to take responsibility this time. I can't always rely on other person from this moment. If I am defeated here, then that means I was only worth that much. Though I understand that this is my own selfishness, but there is a reason behind it. Besides, there is also a task for you guys. Currently, I believe that Sean and the other souls are locked inside the barrier. So if in the war, the barrier is disturbed, it may become undone. The souls might disappear, though it is reinforced by my magic power. If the fight begins, the magic power may be hindered and it can disappear. I want you guys to reinforce the barrier and call out to Sean and the others. This, I don't know if it really is necessary, but it's a request I want them to do, even if it's only raising the possibility a little. Currently, I am emitting my entire magic power to maintain the barrier. The inside of the barrier is also filled with magic power energy. Physics and magic have the same rule from macro to micro. In other words, the space is filled with energy. I think that the souls that covered my energy will held in place and not become dispersed. If the soul's protection disappear, it may pass the barrier and dispersed. Human can enter the barrier without any difficulty because their magic power component is sparse. Regarding the soul, because it is a pure energy, it is hampered by the barrier. Monster's astral body is composed by magic power. I think to increase the probability to prevent the energy dispersion. If I go to the war, I want the remaining person to maintain the current barrier condition. If I want to be able to use my whole power, this is the best solution according to Great Sage's opinion. Maybe even if Inati come along with the invasion forces, I will still be able to kill everyone by myself. I had seen her skill, that is my biggest advantage. I won't allow myself to be defeated for the second time. Seeing my determination, Benimaru nodded. Acknowledged. This time we will leave everything to Rimuru-sama. Please do our share of rage. I replied with my nod. In the first place, there is no intention to forgive the enemy. I receive everyone's acknowledgement. I will become the only opponent for the invading army. The seventh day, below me, I see hosts of soldiers are marching, but now I can only see them as food nourishment. Those bastards, they will become shons. Properly speaking, there should be a war declaration, but right now the enemy has already declared it, and it has been received. In that case, these bastards, I won't leave any of them alive. There is no need for survivors there. It's no need. There is no need to fight fairly. Those human trash, to become nourishment for my evolution, you all should be grateful. I'm now high in the sky, soaring with my mimicry wing. I looked down at my bellow and confirmed the situation. There is no problem. I developed a new magic just for the sake of killing these bastards. Now, let justice be done. Die, be pierced and burned by divine indignation, God's wrath, Megiddo. Dancing light rain down from the sky. It reflected repeatedly above the ground. It pierced the soldier bodies without meeting any resistance. And so the massacre begins. In the army, there are magic division specialists that erect defensive barriers. Even if the number of opponents is high, if within short distance, the horde attack magic will defeat them in one blow. So to take cover under the barrier range is the common sense of this world army. Of course, there's also defense barrier carefully prepared this time. Even if they march to a city with high-level monster, which they considered as a joke, the level barrier is still skillfully done. However, in front of my new magic, it doesn't have any meaning. In this world, the principle of barrier is emphasized in the defense against magic power, so it means that they hadn't any resistance against things that abide laws of physics. That is the result of the analysis of barrier, so that fact has been confirmed. If you think about it, the heat from the 1,000-degree flames can be stopped completely by a barrier, etc. So what is the cost that the barrier is able to interfere with the natural phenomenon? This world elemental magic is to manipulate magic power to invoke interference in physical law. That's why, to prevent it, defense barrier prevents the entry of magic power, except for the one with big magical power. It is hardly impossible to break a barrier since it prevents the entry of magic power. It becomes impossible to cause any physical interference inside it. So what about spirit magic? Because it rewrite the physical law because of the spirit's power to cause interference, it still had power, it's in although it's in smaller scale. Of course, if they put spirit barrier, spirit magic usage can be prevented. That is the reason that the most basic barrier had multiple more than 2 years. Therefore, to stop such notion, I decide to invent a way to turn magic into pure physical energy. I take inspiration from Hinata's disintegration and trusting great sage to turn it into practical application. By entrusting all calculation, it was easy to put it into practical use. I create several 100,000 floating water droplets into my surroundings. Far up in the sky, there are several dozen giant floating water droplets similar to convex lens. The convex lens-shaped water droplets up in the sky receive sunlight and converge it into a thin line. Down below the water droplets form reflective mirror array that is used to converge it more. The water droplets are created by me with water spirit energy. Thus, the sunlight that the water droplets reflected converged to become as thin as a pencil, and its temperature reached 1,000 degrees. All the water droplets catch the sunlight energy. This is reflection. Converging magic. This is menu magic, physics magic, God's wrath, Megiddo. At the first simultaneous firing, not less than 1,000 soldiers get hit and die. Below me, the march become chaotic. God's wrath, Megiddo attack is instilling panic. Of course, this is not the end. Using the most optimum calculation by adjusting the position, the second attack commences. Not able to resist it, more than 1,000 soldiers die. This magic has a frightening aspect. That is, the energy cost is low. The water droplets created by the magic at the final point of the firing will evaporate and disappear because of the heat, that it's possible to replace them in an instant. For that reason, I use water spirit magic. The water can be created without using too much energy. This process can finish under 1 minute, and then it's possible to fire it again. After all, I only need to replace the water and adjust its position, and is the magic power is only needed to maintain the water spirit. The energy source that contributed the most is a symbol of natural energy, the sun. The only problem is that it's only usable at daytime. But it's daytime right now. All problems are cleared. Now I can finally clean those people trash below me. Without any sound, the heat comes with the speed of light, not letting the soldiers to resist. They all pierced and burned. It's a massacre. Soldiers with poor armor, knights with superior metal armor. They all killed equally without any differences. However, I don't aim at a particularly splendid courage. It's uncertain if the king gotten in it, but it's impossible for him to remorse if he is killed. But I'm not that merciful. The rewards for invoking my imperial wrath, I'll make sure he received it. Initiating a one-sided fight, only about 5 minutes. 2 out of 3 of the invading armies, two-thirds of the invading armies were incapacitated. It's such a good time. I'm slowly descending to the ground with my fluttering wing. To those foolish ones, I will give them further despair. Of the all-knowing great narrator in the sky, third person. Right now, what had happened in front of his eyes? King Edomaris. Can't understand it. No, it's not only King Edomaris. The head of a royal palace magician, and the knight leader too. Nobody from the upper echelon can understand what happened here. Oh yeah, my arm. Please, help, please. Wow, from where? Where the heck it's coming from? The battlefield instantly turned into hell's pandemonium. Just a while ago, the morale is high. They all full confidence of victory. The veteran knights who survived through many battles from unknown direction light comes and penetrate their chest, rewarding them an instant death. The still young volunteer soldiers trying to escape without understanding what had happened. The dispatched knights from the church had full confidence in their barrier, but those barriers are meaningless. I sneer when their head is penetrated. The weak and the strong, everyone equally trembling in terror. No one tried to retaliate. Maybe if Anata is here, she might able to respond immediately against it and erect a physics barrier. After all, physics barrier is a secret in magic arts. Person who able to use it are limited, and the effective range also small. But Hinata is not here, so there's no use to imagine a hypothetical situation. King Edomalis felt the terror that makes him hard to breathe. He desperately tries to endure it. He tries to protect his dignity as a king, thinking desperately with his confused mind. No matter how you look at it, this military endeavor has failed to escape with their life from here, but it's already too late. That won't happen. Why did it turn out like this? No, that is not important right now. Folgen, what should we do? He asked his dependable leader. The honorable knight leader is the strongest in the kingdom. He is not inferior even to a rank A adventurer. He is a hero with long military history, a trusted retainer that the king can depend on. And yet there is no answer from Folgen. Folgen, what happened? Why are you not answering? Folgen, in fear and confusion, he said with his voice mixed with anger. He taps the knight's shoulder. Shaking violently, his sturdy body tilts and collapses. If you observe it closely, his temporal region is gone. The brain has leaked out. Ah, gasp, gasp. King Idamali shouted in horror. He fell down and unable to stand due to the fear in his courage. The courage is an open type. It was used to boost everyone's morale, but now it had backfired. While discharging warm liquids from his groins, he tries to escape by brawling. Now he doesn't care anymore about his dignity as a king. Die. If he stays in here, he will die. Falling into a state of panic, he frantically tries to run away. However, there's no one who notices the king appearances, because every one of them desperately running for their own life. The symbol of justice against monsters are the 1,000 knights of the church chivalry quarter. However, they had been killed without chance to do anything. While they are inferior to holy knights, each of them is equal to a rank B adventurer in terms of battle prowess. The one who should have had absolute superiority against monsters are annihilated in a blink of an eye. They fall into panic, if of course justified. At that time, the soldiers who spilled tears and mucus from their nose, they all look at the sky. King Indomalis also look at the sky. Someone is descending from the sky. Person with a black bat-like wing. The person's height is not that tall, wearing a beautiful mask. On that mask, there is a crack that resembles a crying face, wearing a sublime, beautiful black kimono with beautiful black hide armor at the outside. That person didn't carry any weapon. That person is a demon. No, it's Demon Lord. It's a Demon Lord. His instinct screamed. At that time, at last, the king realizes the grand mistake that he had committed. It is not something you can fight against. The one Roman kingdom had relationship with, the demon lord in front of him. That outfit, it must have been woven from beautiful silk cloth. That appearance, the demon lord in front of him must be the ruler of that city. That means Hinata Sakaguchi from the church. Did it means that she failed? That calculating cruel witch, it had been said that she never failed in her task, but it wouldn't be strange if it because someone who surpassed that witch. This demon had such an aura drifting from it. For all that, it's a fact that can only be accepted. This demon carries the same appearance that is similar to the demon lord. No, there is still a chance. At that moment, an idea flashed inside the king's mind. I am a king. I might be able to talk away to it and negotiate. This is skillful thinking. After returning to the country, then I can prepare a counterattack. If he is the opponent who gladly conducts negotiation with Burman, there is no doubt it must go down to its knee and me, the king of a great nation, Falma's kingdom. Like this, the king had lost in his foolish thoughts, and he commits another great mistake. In this matter, he is no longer angry in desperation, for his life is his biggest motivation and his thoughts. Now, Bob Rimuro, while I see a terrible situation, when I arrived in the ground, with magic perception, I obtain information of the situation perfectly. I can reliably pierce the vital point from blind spots. Occasionally, to create confusion, I purposely blow off an arm, a leg, or the body, the screaming from pain that emerge, causing further chaos. This terrible situation is progressing in the way I had imagined before. The surviving soldiers that see my appearance fall further into fear. Hi, help! Help! Although I heard a voice that seems to begging for his life, I don't care about it and pierce the middle of his forehead. It takes time to get used to it, but now I can control the beam according to my intention. The angle is simple. It's low cost, so I can shoot as many as I like. If you converge the heat ray into a single spot, it will reach thousands degrees, so it will arrive at the point where it is possible to pierce a human with it. If you had learned the principle behind it, it is possible to shoot it optimally at will. There is only little time lag. In other words, it is the same as speed of light. If you can see it, then you can't avoid it. For example, shoot it from 10,000 kilometers. The time for it to reach the target is about 0.034 seconds. Even if a human eye receives information about it, the time for it to be transmitted and reach the brain is much slower. This calculation to aim precisely. This calculation to aim precisely cannot be performed without using the great sage computation ability. One would expect from great sage. I once again become amazed. If it is used from close range, even me with great sage compensation will have difficulty in evading it. In my situation, if I for a moment sense it, it's hard to know if I will be able to dodge it. It will leave it to fate. I will leave it to fate. So it is impossible for a human to dodge it. I shoot at some people who try to run away crawling similar to the one whom prostrating to me. While doing that, confirmed unique skill heartless. One, acquisition succeeded. It is not the great sage, but the voice from the heaven that I haven't heard for a long time. How to put it, this skill sucks, although one may say that it can be avoided for me to receive the skill. When I wonder what kind of ability it had, that bastard begins to talk. Wait. You, Isama, must be the lord of that city. I am Edomalis, the king of Falma's kingdom. Behave yourself. I hear what you, Kisama, want to talk. That dirty Austin flapping his mouth. When I see him, his nether region is wet with peace. His face is decorated with tears, mucus, and drool. What a gross figure, is what I want to shout. It's like the feeling when my browser crashes. Oh well, the one I targeted introduced himself. It's a good thing. With this, I can get the mastermind. What? You just want to hear me? So I answered, I'm impudence. I am the king of the great nation Falmouth Kingdom. You, Kisama, are a being that by all rights had no privilege to address me. However, it's fine this time. Then, in one hit, the arm was burned off. He doesn't give off an appearance that should receive someone else's respects. Furthermore, he still doesn't aware of the current situation. He won't die, but he will sobered up with this. Well, he may die in agony, but if possible, the one who should kill him is not me, but the person Sean who had the grudge is the one who should do it. Listen, you, Trash. Look at your opponent before talking. Don't get cocky just because I am a kind person. You are permitted to talk. Continue. At the beginning, just looking blankly, is the Austin who stares at his missing left hand. When his brain catch up, it seems that the pain instantly attacked him. He screams and began rolling around. He's a great person, but he seems to lack any honor. That one who said that to be a great person was equals to Austin in front of me now. My mind hardly can find the resemblance. Oh dear, well, I think my anger has calmed down a bit. However, if this person dies, I'm afraid that my anger will rebound back. Is there nothing more you want to say? You can continue display your dance, but after 10 minutes it will end you. It will end. You hear me? Hearing my words, he looks at me and seems to try to speak something. His voice is not in fear or pain, but an annoying. What an annoying Awesome. It can't be helped. I will leave him in pain for some more time. The Awesome reluctantly raised his head. I will only say it once. Speak, I threaten him. At first, his words sound faintly, but at last it seems he becomes more settled. I will only say it once. Speak, I threaten him. At first, his words sound faintly, but at last it seems he becomes more settled. And so, my country wants to enter into a diplomatic relationship. Can't it be done? It's a good talk, right? I had been deceived. I don't think that the city had a reliable person like you. However, it's fortunate that it's the opposite. The country with this wonderful hero can be considered as a diplomatic relationship partner. If you enter a diplomatic relationship with my country, then we can mutually be in peace together. If you secure peace with my country, then you will receive the support from my country. This is mutually benefiting us. Isn't it? Either way, I will also introduce you to the council. How's that? Of course, you will receive it. This guy, is he a genius? How can I become this mad? He wants to taste more agony, no less than that. Is that what he talks about? The Austin, without noticing that I am baffled by him, keeps talking without reading the mood. For now, let's just shut his mouth by burn off his right leg. Though he is screaming after getting shot, he won't die. Even if you don't do anything to stop the bleeding, the blood will not bleed out because the blood vessels had been cauterized. Because it's best to leave him alive, it was convenient. I noticed the surroundings somehow become quieter, and so I take a look. It seems that the surviving soldiers fear and respect me. They all are prostrating on the ground. They pray desperately for the first time. They are begging for their life. Unfortunately, such decision was already too late. My generous heart was painted by anger. Right, the analysis of unique skill heartless one had just been completed. The effect is, to the person who begs for their life, with its ability, it will be possible to seize the soul of the person who begs for help. In other words, this ability works against people who lost their fighting spirit, which sent death sentence to them. Though the skill wouldn't be much of use, this time the ability is extremely useful. Question, do you want to use unique skill, heartless one, yes or no? Yes, I answered with a calm mind. There is no hesitation. Immediately after I used the ability, besides the king that I didn't specifically set as a target, and without being able to offer any resistance, everyone else died. With my ability, several thousand surviving soldiers perished. The battlefield that was filled with waves of pain and fear had become calm. To end the pain and fear instantly, consider this as my benevolence. For the king that remains alive for now, there will be further pain and fear waiting for him. At this time, notification, the necessary human soul nourishment for the requirement of evolution, seed sprouting, had been confirmed, recognized, the requirement had been met. From now on, evolution to the Lord Harvest Festival will begin. The voice of the world resounds in my mind. Without my consent, my body begins to transform and organize itself. I am not a person who called himself a demon lord. I am the one who turned into a true demon lord. On this day, a new demon lord was born in this world. End of chapter 69.